Hello. So today we're going to go over section 2.1 and camera. So section 2.1, solve each equation for x. When you're solving for x, looking at this first one here, you want to try and get the x's on one side and the constants on another. So the first thing we would do is subtract. Since we're subtracting x, we want to add the x to the other side. Always do the opposite. And make sure you're only combining like terms. Like these are like terms. X and 3x is 4x. Now bring my 2 down. And my 6 and these two cancel. Now I'm still trying to get the variable by itself, so I want to get rid of the 2. Since we're adding it, we'll subtract it. We have 4x equals 4. And we're still trying to get rid of x by itself, so we want to get rid of this 4. Since we're multiplying them, to get rid of it, we divide. But what you do to one side, you always do to the other. And so x equals 1. Now when we have a fraction, you want to multiply through by a value to get rid of it. And so if we look at, well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. The denominators are a 6 and a 10. That means we want to find the smallest value that both of these divide into. And they both go into, you could take 6 times 10 and 60, but it's going to be a little large and you'd have to reduce some. They would also both go into 30. So if you can find a smaller value, it's better, but multiplying together isn't wrong. But 10 and 6 both go into 30. So I'm going to multiply by 30. But remember, you multiply every term by 30. So in the first one, the 10 goes into 30 3 times. And then 3 times a negative 2 is a negative 6, x plus 1. This one doesn't have a fraction, and so 30 times x is a negative 30x, equal to 30 times 2 is 60. Then this one does. So this 6 goes into 35 times. 5 times x is 5x. Then we need to solve it. When you're solving, get rid of your parentheses first. Negative 6 times x is a negative 6x. Negative 6 times 1 is a negative 6. Minus 30x equals 6 plus 60 plus 5x. So first we get rid of parentheses, then we combine any like terms. 6 and 30 are like terms. They're both negative, so we would add them. We have negative 36x minus 6 equals 60 plus 5x. Now we need to get the variables on one side and the numbers on another, so I'm going to subtract the 5x to the other side. And when I subtract that, I have a negative 41x minus 6 equals 60, because those cancel. Now I'm going to move the 6 to the other side and have a negative 41x equals 66. And then divide by the negative 41. So x equals 66 over a negative 41. And that would be my answer. Let's try try solving one more just to make sure you understand them. I think I have another fraction one somewhere, but okay. When we look at this one, we could multiply through to get rid of the fractions. We have a 5, a 3, another 5, and a 4. So if we take, we don't need to repeat the 5. If you take the other values, 5 times 3 and times 4, we get 60. Yeah. So if we multiplied everything by 60, it's the smallest value that everything will go into. If when you're multiplying, it doesn't cancel all of your fractions, then do it again. You just didn't pick a large enough value. So 4 goes into 60 15 times, and 3 times 15 is 45. 5 goes into 60 12 times, and 1 times 12 is 12x. 3 goes into 60 20 times. 20 times a negative 1 is a 20. And then 5 and 60 we said was 12. 12 times 4 is 48x. Combine your like terms before you start moving things around. So 45 minus 20 is 25. And then subtract the 12x over. Since this x is already by itself, I'd bring the 12x over to it. So then you have 25 equals 48 minus 12 is 36x, and divide by the 36. So that x equals 25 over 36. So you could always multiply through to get rid of those fractions. Okay. Find, or for f of x equals 2x minus 12, find each, the 0 of the function. The 0 of the function is when x is 0. Sorry, I said that wrong. When the function is 0, because it's 0 of the function. So that's when this whole thing is 0. So if the whole thing is 0, we want to solve, we want to get 2x by itself, so we want to add the 12 to the other side. And we have 0 and 12 is 12 equal to 2x, and then divide by your 2, so that x equals 6. Using the same equation, finding the x-intercept is when y is 0, which then is the same thing as here. You're plugging 0 in for f of x. And we already solved that, and we got 6. And then the last one, the solution to the equation f of x equals 0, f of x equals 0 is the same as saying y equals 0, which is the same as the 0 of the function. These are all different ways of saying the exact same thing. So this is the same thing, x equals 6. It's just 3 different ways of saying the exact same thing. Simple interest. Simple interest has a formula, S equals P times 1 plus RT. S is the amount at the end, so it's your total amount at the end. P is the starting amount or the principal. R is the interest rate as a decimal, and T is time in years, so it is in years. S is also called future value. What must be deposited now at a simple interest rate of 6% to have $12,000 in 5 years? So in 5 years, we want to have a total of $12,000. We want to know how much we need to invest now. Well, if we think of our values for simple interest, we're looking, what must we deposit now? That's present value. So we're looking for P. $12,000 is how much we want at the end. That's the amount at the end, the future value. So that's our $12,000. Our interest rate is 6%. 6% as a decimal, 0.06. You move your decimal place over 2. Times T, which is time in years, and we said 5 years. So we want to calculate inside the parenthesis first. 1 plus 0.06 times 5 is 1.3. So we have 12,000 equals 1.3 P. Now, if we're trying to get P by itself, since this is multiplied, we need to divide. And when we divide that, P equals $9,230.77, rounding to the nearest cent. P of x equals 25x minus 3,000, where x is the number of shirts for the math club and P of x is the profit from selling x of them. Producing and selling how many shirts will give a profit of $4,000. So when you're doing these, think about your equation and what the variables stand for. Profit is P of x. So that means the 4,000 is going in for P of x, because x would be the number of shirts, which is what we're looking for, how many shirts. So we're plugging this in for the P of x. 4,000 equals 25x minus 3,000. And then we want to solve for x. So we're going to add the 3,000 to the other side because we're getting x by itself. We have 7,000 equal to 25x. We're still trying to get x by itself. Since this is multiplied, we need to divide. And so we get x equals 280. So we need to sell 280 shirts. And we will make a profit of $4,000. think I have a second part to this one. Yeah. To avoid a loss, how many shirts must be sold? Well, if this is our profit function, if we're going to have a loss, that means it's negative or less than 0. So as long as 25x minus 3,000, which is our profit, is greater than 0, we won't have a loss. When we solve this, we'll add the 3,000 to the other side. $25x is greater than 3,000. And divide by the 25. $120. So we need to sell at least 120 shirts so we don't lose any money. Now, if we sell 120, that's when it equals 0. We broke even. We made just enough money to cover what we spent. So that's what that 120 is. That's your break-even point.